So this is the new BMW 3 Series, and this one is the diesel version, the 320 diesel, which is the ones we're going to be doing mostly while here, but it will be available in petrol and a PHEV with a slightly extended range of 60 kilometers on just battery. For 43 years, the BMW 3 Series has defined the sector as the ultimate driver's machine. From the outside, it doesn't look like much is going on, but thanks to BMW's cluster architecture, which is new for the 3 Series, the car is up to 55 kg lighter than its predecessor. Body rigidity has improved by as much as 50%. There's also the legendary 3 Series 50-50 weight distribution. All these elements work together to improve the car's dynamic ability. So there is a few changes around the back just before we go in. This new light wrap around here looks really good. Boot is commodious, electric tailgate. Boot opening isn't probably the biggest, but it is the saloon version of it as well. But the car itself actually handles really well. This one is not an X-Drive, it is a standard rear wheel drive, which is the one we actually wanted. We're going to test an X-Drives later on in the day. Anyway, come on, let's have a look inside. So the interior of the new 3 Series, we are on the right side of the car here, by the way. This is the correct side of the car. We're driving the wrong side of the road. But anyway, so the interior, there is quite a few changes. This is the end release model. Everything here has changed. Everything is visually totally different from the 3 Series you're looking at home right now. We've got this beautiful touchscreen across the center. The sat-nav is a little bit confusing, but I think that's probably because it's the UK spec model of this car rather than being the right side of the road. Wireless chargers here in the bottom, USB port in the front, and a mini USB port down here, which is different again. This touchscreen thing in the center, I've actually plugged in my phone. This touchscreen bit in the middle is actually quite nice, and a twiddly knob there to do everything else with. The air conditioning is right here in buttons in front of you, not on the touchscreen. The dashboard itself is where the major change has taken place. This is absolutely outstandingly beautiful. Probably an option, but it's very, very good. It's got all these dials mapped out. It's a complete electronic dashboard. It's such a nice place to be. The cabin in here is absolutely gorgeous. Cushions you from the outside world gorgeously, and yet gives you the feeling of dynamic handling and driving as well, which is very good. Now, next thing we got to do is take it out on the road. The new operating system 7 has turned out to be one of the best I've used. The dash is bright and clear. It can show you multiple items at once without ever looking confusing. So to drive, from your perspective, I'm on the right hand side of the car, but I'm actually driving on the right hand side of the road as well, which is kind of technically difficult to remember which way to go. But to drive the BMW 3 Series is solid. It really does feel solid on the road. They do grip like no other car company. This is the standard rear wheel drive one as well. 320 diesel. We'll get all the technical specs and stuff later on in the day, and we're also here to test the BMW Z4, which is tomorrow. But for today, it is all about the 3 Series. And I know the first thing that's going to happen in the comments down below is they will point out that I'm saying T-R-E-E and not T-H-R-E-E, which is a different kind of 3, but it's the way Irish people talk, and that's that. So in a little press conference we got, which wasn't much, he talked about this 3 Series having the same 0 to 60 time as the original BMW M3, which is an interesting take on it, but technology has moved on in such a way that it was going to be impossible to keep up with anyway. But it does feel let's say not hesitant as a diesel car goes, and remarkably, when you look at what BMW are doing right now, they're not talking about electric model cars.
The second exit onto A366.
There is going to be electric cars. They do have the i3, of course, and there'll be a new i3 coming as well. That is being talked about. When it comes to this 3 Series, we're only talking about PHEV, no electric model of it just yet. But we'll see what happens over the next 5 to 10 years. Which is what the time frame will really be. A couple of interesting bits and pieces on the car that I quite like is the sat nav in front of me is very clear on the heads-up display. I think I just went the right way. I did, yes. It's very clear on the heads-up display out in front. It's very, very clear. Now, most of these things disappear when you put polarized sunglasses on, so just bear that in mind. But I do have that same sat nav in front of me here on the dashboard, and then you've got a sat nav in front of me again. So I've actually got 3 versions of the thing in front of me for the 3 Series, which is quite nice. Dynamically, it's really flat. Sport mode does give you a bit of a heavier throttle foot and allows the steering wheel to tighten up a little bit more. Rear wheel drive is where it's at in my head. I've always liked it and always preferred it over the X-Drive system. X-Drive is very good if in winter you spend most of your time driving around in snow. You can have X-Drive, but realistically for most purists of the BMW 3 Series, it's rear wheel drive is where it's at, and it does a very good job at shuttling you along. Really comfy seats, very good turn in on the steering wheel. It's nicely weighted throughout the corners, and it does very, very well. We will see the 3 Series hit Ireland. I don't have direct prices of it yet. I'll flash them up on the screen if I get them before this video is made. But we'll see it in this year. It'll be in probably the 192 range of cars. You'll probably be able to see it at a dealership by the time I get back. I am actually booked into the 3 Series when I get home. So it is available, it is out there. It is a wonderful to see BMW come back with a decent, strong offering in the 3 Series range. It's the car that made the BMW name great over the years. Everybody's life at some point has crossed the path of a 3 Series, whether it be watching some 3 Series coupe drive by you or a desire level of having a standard estate version of it. Whatever it is, it's going to make an interesting mix when it comes to what's coming out in Ireland right now. There goes the Z4 zooming by us. Hopefully you have learned something about the 3 Series while I was talking. I've said 3 an awful lot. I wonder how many, get a little count in the corner screen there, maybe how many times I said 3 in this. Hopefully you've enjoyed this full review, and by now you've hit the subscribe button because there's many more to come. And of course the next video will be BMW Z4, which means I won't be saying 3 anymore. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all the usual sharey stuff, and hopefully you will join me on Sunday for the Sunday service. But until the next time, we'll see you on the far side.